Hello, hello. Hola, amigos. Guten Abend. Buonasera. Wherever you are. Okay, I don't know how much time I have because today I had interview with Times Radio, and unfortunately I forgot to charge everything. So it's either my lighting dies or my camera dies. Or I die because of too much sugar in the coffee. Guys, today we have a bunch of updates. But first of all, I'm so happy to stream for you. I missed this. Um, okay, and as far as I can see, you guys can hear me well. This is great. Okay, let's start with this one because it's a very, very important update. 88 Ukrainian prisoners returned from Russian captivity, and here we can see them. So there were a lot of different people. There were sergeants, there were soldiers, privates in according to Ukrainian language, soldier is a private, soldat is a private. It's not like privates are not soldiers or whatever. But it's so cool to see them back. As we can see here, yes, they returned from Russian captivity. That's why you will not see overweight soldiers, right? This is reality. Russians like to torture them using hunger, using starvation, and you can see them here leaving the bus. Yeah, and we have another video. Those guys, I can see flags of border guards, National Guard of Ukraine. I can see flags of the armed forces of Ukraine. So the guys safely returned home, and I think this is great. Now, yeah, I'm also reading you guys in case I decide to mute myself. Can't wait for this war to be over so you can build your RV8. Oh my god, how do you know that I dream about RV8? This is one of my favorite add-ons. I like last year I bought an add-on in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it absolutely sucked, so I'm waiting for a better one. Anyways, let's switch to the map real quick because we had update from Chivar. Do I see myself? Yes, I can see myself, so I will not look for treasures in my nose. Here we have Chivar. And what's the current situation there? The current situation is Russians are trying to... do I have the... Yes, I do. So Russians are trying... wrong color, I'm sorry. Yes, I want to clear everything. Yeah, this is the proper color for the Russian terrorists. Russians are trying to develop their attack from north and from south in order to surround the town. This is the latest information that we have from my guys there. So they're saying that on the northern flank, Russians are very, very active today, and we will be keeping our eye on this situation because the night will be very, very tough. So let's hope that they will have enough ammunition to fight back and to deflect those attacks. So the situation in the north, in Kharkiv specifically, as we know, Russian army suffers stagnation, basically. Their attack collapsed, they cannot continue effectively, right? But they still keep sending troops. And They also use a lot of gliding bombs every single day. We're talking about approximately 100 or more every single day. It's a nasty thing. But as for Chasivyar, let's pray for our guys there. There's a lot of my friends right now, not specifically from my brigade, but the guys I know, and root for them. So this is regarding Chasivyar. Last year when I was there, and I was there exactly 1 year ago, it already looked very, very bad. I have a lot of footage, and I believe that I posted it for you guys last year. It looked pretty much destroyed because of continuous artillery strikes, aviation strikes, and things like that. We were there several times with journalists, and unfortunately, Russians track our movement using drones, and every single time they see vehicles arriving to the area, they either send strike drones or launch artillery strikes and things like that. So it was very, very hard. Every single time journalists were there, there was either shelling or something like that. And I remember we came there with a journalist. Guys, you have to know this thing about journalists. They are great guys. Actually, I don't criticize journalists because, like, you don't fight journalists. They always win, right? But some of them are like, we want to go like to the very front line and jump into a Russian trench and die. And we go, you cannot do that because you will literally die. And we don't care. We want footage and we want to die. And then you take a bunch of guys, bring them to the position, for example. And again, because there's movement and Russians spot the movement, they send their drones, attack starts. We have wounded because some of the journalists decided to, I don't know, receive Pulitzer's award or something like that. But there's a lot of sane and normal, ordinary journalists that understand the situation. Again, I have plenty of cases when they would go, okay, guys, let the situation stabilize a bit, and then we will visit you guys. Okay, what we have next? Another update comes from Poland. Let me just switch it real quick for you guys. So this is from Polish website. Polish company Wytwórnia Sprzętu Komunikacyjny Poznań sold, and it's a company producing different hardware, right? So they sold a bunch of fuel pumps to Iranian company that services tractors for like field crops, for agricultural purposes, right? And the company was called Iran Motor Sazan. So Polish companies sent them fuel pumps. Eventually, those fuel pumps were found in the wreckage, in the remains of the Khamenei's drones, strike drones used to kill Ukrainian people. And it just makes me so mad that, like, okay, your country has multiple sanctions. Do what you can in order to make your people's life easier. I don't know, if you're still in technology, use those technologies for improving your industry, improving your science, developing your agricultural sector and things like that. The fucker builds drones to kill people. And this is why Khamenei must die. That's 100%. I don't care about YouTube strikes. It's truth. Terrorists must be punished. Um, okay. Another very important thing that I wanted to mention is it was actually yesterday. So yesterday it was 10 years since the horrible catastrophe, MH17, the airplane, Malaysian Airlines, that was shot down over Donbass. So what's the story? You probably remember that. The story is following. Russians occupied Donbass using racial Russians, using fox like Igor Strelkov-Girkin, the one that was considered hero of Russia because for what he did in Donbass and Crimea, and now he's in the Russian jail. So they occupied Donbass, and of course they started sending their hybrid army stationed in Donbass. They started sending tanks. They started sending different weaponry, and among those vehicles that they've sent was Buk, BUK. It's an air defense system, basically a radar and missile launcher. What they did, they spotted an airplane flying towards the Donbass, flying over the territory. And they shot it down. Straight away, they posted a tweet. Actually, Strelkov/Girkin posted a tweet saying that they destroyed a military Ukrainian aircraft. Then they arrived on scene, and as soon as they saw like people, children scattered around, their possessions, bags and suitcases and things like that. Of course, first thing they did, they erased the tweet. Before that, there was another tweet where Russians were boasting. They were bragging about this book. Actually, they said that they captured it from Ukrainians because obviously Ukraine has so much air defense. So we just, I don't know, you can find them in the salt mines or coal mines. So they tried to erase all their tracks, and internet doesn't forget anything, of course. And exactly after that, Russians said that they want to participate in the investigation, and they want to investigate this horrible tragedy. And what they did next was they created ton of bullshit about this. So official versions included this airplane was shot down by Ukrainian Buk. Then this airplane was shot down, but not by Buk, but by a Ukrainian aircraft, Su-25 to be more specific. Later it was changed to Su-27 because Su-25 cannot fly so high to be able to intercept airplanes like Boeing that can fly at more than 30,000 feet. So Su-25 is an attack aircraft. It flies low and slow. Later, they also produced a Photoshop using Google Maps. Let me find this for you because it's absolutely incredible. MH17 Photoshop. Yeah, here it is. Here you can see the photoshopped image of allegedly, according to Russian version, allegedly Ukrainian aircraft that was shooting a missile. Of course, this was recognized as basically Google Maps. It was copy-pasted. The clouds were in the same place and things like that. but you understand the idea. So it was like official Russian proof presented to the joint investigation team to try to prove that Ukraine was involved in shooting down the aircraft. So there were different versions. They created a story of this pilot who later asked for refuge. I don't know, but of course, a joint investigation team confirmed that all that was a bullshit. The video footage of the Russian MH17, Russian book that shot down MH17. Video footage was collected and published everywhere. Here, for example, you can see this machinery being delivered to Russian-controlled territory of Donbass, and it was identified and things like that. So it was confirmed that Russians delivered an air defense system to Ukraine, and they used it to shoot down a Boeing with 298 people on board. And as you probably understand, they all died. So was it a mistake? Apparently, they expected to shoot down a military airplane. I have no doubt about it. On the other hand, we're talking about Russian terrorists. When terrorism is involved, people usually die, right? So one way or another, Russians are terrorists since 2014 officially, and they always were. I don't remember if we talked about MH17 last year, but this year it's I think it would be a proper thing to remember all the people, all the civilian victims who died due to the Russian terrorism, and we should remember them. We should remember those people. Okay, next up. Of course, we have some more optimistic news, I would say. One of the updates speaks of famous Russian writer. His name was Anatoly Gonchar. And here I have this. Russian servicemen. So Russians published an obituary in their media regarding Anatoly Gonchar, famous Russian writer who died in Ukraine. What makes this situation especially cringy was that, I checked the books that he wrote, and among them, and you probably know this habit of Russians to write those propaganda books about war, Russian Spetsnaz, invulnerable Orthodox Russian Spetsnaz that can shoot mind bullets and move things using the power of their mind and shit like that. So he wrote a book that literally says the order is to die. Приказ погибнуть. The order to die. One thing I respect this writer for, I never read him, but at least he follows orders. Nobody except us, Russian Spetsnaz. Oh my god. Like, sane people don't read that, I swear. I mean, that's obviously, Russians have this special position, special position, starting at, I believe, the level of company, the position of political, my God, political education officer. They had that since Soviet times. In the Soviet times, it was basically an officer spreading bullshit about communism. And nowadays, it's like an officer that is responsible for their morale and shit like that. And that is what those political education officers in the Russian army basically get in big amounts to share among their soldiers, apparently. In Ukrainian army, we have position of officer for по роботі з особовим складом. Твою мать. Officer for internal relations with, like, how do you call it? How do you call it in English? Guys, please let me know. The officer responsible for morale, and he does all the gigs, shows, invites like writers, musicians, and prostitutes, and you know what I'm talking about. So we have that. And they don't talk about politics, of course, because it's absolutely forbidden in the Ukrainian army. But there is HR, yeah. Thank you, Toggle Walk. Basically like HR. So that's what our guys do. USO, what is USO? USO, entertainment officer. Okay, let me check real quick what the USO means. USO officer. Organ is a United Service of what? Whatever. Well, you got what I. Barracks bunny. Public relations man. Something like that. Toggle walk. It's not. It's not sergeant. It's an officer. It's a CO. Okay, anyways, let me just get rid of this amazing book. I don't know, probably I gotta read them, you know, from time to time. HR on steroids. Chaplain, it's not chaplain, trust me. Our chaplain didn't invite musicians, unfortunately. But I think it's a great update. Another great update is that Russians announced creating a sanitation zone in Kharkiv region. They failed for obvious reasons. But instead, they decided to create a sanitation zone in Belgorod. And I think it's beautiful. So instead of create a sanitation zone, what does it mean? It means an empty piece of territory, basically no man's land, specifically created to protect Terra Russia from heroic Russian freedom fighters fighting for Ukraine. And instead of creating this sanitation zone on Ukrainian territory, because they failed so much in Kharkiv region, they decided to create it on the Russian territory in Belgorod. We are talking specifically about no, not this area. My God. How does it work? Yeah, so we are talking specifically about this area right here on the Russian territory, right? So what they do, they decided to resettle people from 14 towns of Belgorod Oblast, located next to the border. And instead of happy Russian citizens that will have to move out from their apartments, their houses, leave all their life behind and things like that, absolutely happy citizens. Instead of them, they will bring plenty of Russian soldiers and they will take their houses. This is officially from Russian media, I swear. And slowly we're moving to this fuck right here. So the dude on the right, I talked about him, that is Medvedchuk. Who is Medvedchuk? Medvedchuk was a pro-Russian leader of a pro-Russian party in Ukraine, big supporter of Yanukovych, previous Ukrainian dictator who fled to Russia after the Revolution of Dignity. And he was basically direct connection to Putin. Why direct connection to Putin? Because Medvedchuk had a daughter, and Putin himself is literally his daughter's grandfather, officially, right? And the pipe with oil that led from Russia to Ukraine was absolutely and unanimously controlled by Medvedchuk himself. That's why, as you probably understand, he was extremely rich and powerful dude. So as soon as the war began, and before the war began, the big invasion, Medvedchuk was tried. He was tried for all kinds of shit, corruption, treason, and things like that. But again, I don't know what happens to Ukrainian justice. I really hope that it improves eventually sometime in the future. This individual was held at home under the home arrest, home detention. So he escaped, and he was found eventually. He was found trying to cross Ukrainian border wearing a Ukrainian military uniform. He was found, he was arrested, again, trying to leave Ukraine wearing a Ukrainian military uniform is it tells you a lot about his IQ, I believe, but he was captured and he was exchanged for I think like 100 or 70 Ukrainian soldiers. So why do we talk about this dude on the first place? After the assassination attempt in the United States, as you probably remember, if you woke up today, there was assassination attempt against Trump during his speech, during his rally. You probably heard about it. But actually a horrible thing. Horrible, like, don't laugh. But this dude, because he's now in Russia, and he's free, he chills on his yacht and things like that. He wrote Trump a letter. And in this letter, he tried to prove Ukrainian connection to this assassination attempt. One more time. The dude wrote him a letter trying to explain that Zelensky is like a dictator, that he's like the biggest enemy of democracy. Of course, Russians know a lot about democracy. Here you can laugh now. When Russians talk about democracy, you gotta listen to Russians, okay? Because they know so much about democracy. Actually, they do, because they know how to exploit it. So he wrote a letter to Trump trying to prove that Ukraine is somehow related to this case. As you probably remember, my last failed stream, we talked about Russian propagandists who already, as soon as this assassination attempt happened, they immediately started spreading bullshit and trying to connect the shooter, Thomas Crooks, to Azov. And in different media, they called him, I mean, Russian media, they called him a Azov veteran, which again, like, dude found out about Ukraine, about our existence, probably 2 years ago when he was 18 or 17. And it's very unusual to see, like 17 or 18-year-old veterans. I personally never saw that. I know that there are cases in some Asian countries, Vietnam, I believe, or Cambodia, or Burma. There was a revolt that was started by a 14-year-old girl, by the way. But it's like one case, okay, known to history. So, yeah, they try to connect things that you cannot connect. That's why they failed. But one thing that happened for real, and this is quite disturbing, is that Russia actually welcomed J.D. Vance as a new vice president, as future or expected vice president of the United States. So basically, Lavrov, this individual here in Ukraine, we call him a dying horse. And looking at his mug, you probably understand why. Because he fucking is. And he said that J.D. Vance, he's in favor of peace. So, again, it's so cool. Russians that invaded Ukraine, that started the war, it turns out they want peace. Oh my God, seriously? And they go, he's in favor of peace. He's in favor of ending the assistance that's being provided, the assistance meaning weapons, humanitarian aid, financial support, and things like that, provided to Ukraine. And we can only welcome that because that's what we need to stop pumping Ukraine full of weapons, and then the war will end. Of course, it will end as soon as Ukraine loses its military and financial supplies. Of course, there's absolutely no doubt about it. It will not end well for Ukraine, though, yeah. But that's exactly the case. And Vance has repeatedly expressed concerns about continued US military and financial support for Ukraine, and he said once that he doesn't care what happens to Ukraine, one way or the other. The dude is he's the perfect politician. He literally expresses that he gives zero fucks about international relations. Perfect vice president, and I will criticize this individual as much as I can. Uh, Especially considering the fact that there's millions of Ukrainian refugees currently in the Northern America, at least. Um, so, why did it happen? Whenever Russians start to endorse somebody, it's a very, very bad, like when they hate you, when they curse you, when they threaten you. Basically, it works like a seal of approval, nowadays especially, right? It's the best thing you can imagine. Because making friends with the Russian regime basically makes you the same level. It is bad. But when they start saying something good, that means that something is very, very wrong with you, my friend. One thing that they got wrong, though, was I remember during the presidential elections here in Ukraine, when President Zelensky was elected, and plenty of Russian chauvinists there in Russia, including Putin himself, they were congratulating Mr. Zelensky with his victory and with his assignment as a president of Ukraine and things like that, expecting that President Zelensky will be like a very, very flexible. Like, remember when Obama talked to Putin and they forgot to turn off the microphone, and Obama was like, "Don't worry, later I will be more flexible." So he expected Zelensky to be more flexible. Putin failed, basically. He didn't expect Zelensky to be Ukrainian, right? Ukrainian Jew. So that's the story. But when Russians start endorsing you, when they start welcoming you, and shit like that, run for your life. Something is very, very wrong. Unfortunately, there are politicians that will not run because it's too late for them. What I expect from JD Vance in the future? In the future, I expect, and I hope I'm wrong, of course, but I expect him to be even more anti-Ukrainian, especially after this very statement that I'm sure he read or heard, because when Russians make such statements, it means that they have influence, they hooked you. You are on a hook. Because it's very easy. Russians have long history of blackmailing, buying, doing all kinds of crazy manipulations with people, and okay, it's very, very easy to assist a foreign politician through like businessmen, innocent businessmen, right? Or like innocent Russian businessmen. To assist a foreign politician with financial support, with something very, very tiny, something very, very small, okay? And later tell this politician that, we have to extend our cooperation. We will make you an offer you cannot refuse. The dude will be like, why? Why the hell I cannot refuse your offer? And they will be like, dude, because you don't want some big media, Bloomberg, for example, to learn that, you were funded by Russian businessmen, and they will have all kinds of evidence. And then you start realizing that you shouldn't have talked to these people on the first place, because this is how KGB and nowadays FSB freaking recruits their agents of influence and stuff. That's why when such messages appear in the broad media, it means that those guys understand that their whole political career is like hanging on a straw. That's just a theory, okay? But this is how it works with Russians, unfortunately. And what else do we have? Oh, you gonna love it. So, remember, I believe last year we were talking about the fastest Russian mobilization ever. I believe the dude only spent 5 or 6 days between getting mobilized and getting slaughtered in Ukraine. So another Russian, that dude, oh my god, I don't remember which part of Russia he arrived to Ukraine. I believe it took him more time to arrive to Ukraine than actually survive in Ukraine. But anyways, a Russian dude set new record. And here we have, I didn't translate it because it's just a very, very short short message in Russian social media. I believe it's called Vkontakte. So, picture on the left, the woman, Nelly Kovalevskaya, she says, "We are going to the train station. Yay!" And the picture on the right says, Koля died. So the time difference between those two pictures is 2 days, guys. 7th of July on the left and 9th of July on the right. I believe that this is an absolute record for the Russian mobilization. We call it mobilization because Mogila means a grave. So I think it's like new record set by Russians, 2 days between getting mobilized and dying. I think it's amazing. The speed is incredible. So this summarizes today's news. I made it in 45 minutes this time. Yoo-hoo, great. All right. Guys, let's talk about something positive. Let's talk about food or computer games or whatever. You can suggest the topic in the chat, by the way, if you like. I learned to monitor, the chat, so I know that I will evade different fuck-ups. And if you have questions, Kaimo says, can you see my messages, please? Not only I can see your messages, my friend, I can show them on the screen. Do you remember what was the music video? Yeah, guys, before the stream started, we talked with Outrageous Otis about a first video addressed to Russians that I made several days after the beginning of the invasion. So one music video that I remember that took piece of my video was Ukrainian band Bezub Mezheny. I will try to find their music video. It's there. And there were several of them. I think some of the Ukrainian bands also have it. Yeah, guys want to talk about food. Okay. How do you like German women? I respect German women. Uh, they're nice. Um, what more can I say if I want to live? Um, what flavor is your vape? It's a blueberry. Um, are you, oh my god. A lot of Ukrainians speak Russian. Are you a native Ukrainian or Russian speaker? It's a very good question, my friend. As long as I remember myself, I was like three, four. We lived in the Soviet Union back in those days. Actually, Soviet Union collapsed when I was six, and I even went to the first grade to elementary school in the Soviet Union. So generally, everybody were speaking Russian. Like a lot of people were speaking Russian. Of course, Russian was official language. You could not speak Ukrainian language freely. And if you spoke Ukrainian language to people from like Russia, for even for to people from big cities like Kiev, you would be considered a hillbilly. You would be considered a bad rural person, uneducated rural person, okay? Um, because this is the way Russians tried to eliminate Ukrainian identity, and throughout years it was taught to Ukrainian people that if you want to be successful, you have to become Russian. You have it's so insane, guys. It's crazy. It's something that they do nowadays, by the way. So, as long as I remember myself, in the very young age, I remember myself speaking Russian. Later, when Ukraine became independent, I started speaking Ukrainian more and more. Of course, I spoke Ukrainian to my parents when I was like 5, 6, but before that, I clearly remember that I spoke Russian. And later it was like that. I spoke Ukrainian to my parents and mostly Russian to my friends. And then when I was 15, 16, I decided that I would literally switch to Ukrainian just like that in one day. And that's exactly what happened. People, like my friends in the beginning, they were like, "What the hell happened to you?" And I was like, this is my decision. I will speak Ukrainian. And reason for that was because Ukrainian language was very much oppressed. There were plenty of Russian literature, Russian music, Russian musical videos, and things like that. Why were they popular in Ukraine? For a simple reason, because if you want to be a successful chief editor of a magazine, or chief of some kind of business production, you have to be in good relations with the government, of course. And Ukraine was ruled for years by pro-Russian government. And through this government, Russia was dictating its agenda, its cultural expansion, and things like that. As soon as we stopped Russian influence in Ukraine, oh my God, guys, so many Ukrainian bands emerged, so much cool Ukrainian music, so much cool Ukrainian books. Ukrainian culture literally like expanded like crazy, and it was through I don't know maybe 2-3 years. And in 2-3 years, nobody even thought about I don't know buying Russian book if you can buy it in Ukrainian and enjoy your own beautiful language. And Ukrainian culture expanded massively. So Ukrainian dubbing in the cinema is like it's my favorite. Nowadays, I know our government is talking about uh, like showing movies in original language with subtitles. There are people who like the idea. I support the idea completely because Ukrainians have to learn English. Whole world speaks English, right? But on the other hand, I extremely enjoy Ukrainian dubbing in the movie theaters. It's something so cool. Pirates of Caribbean and things like that. Oh my god, it's amazing. Do you have any positive memories of the Soviet era? Uh, yes, my friend, I do. I was like 5, 6. I didn't have to go to job, pay taxes. I didn't have to marry. I didn't have to divorce. I didn't have to pay elements for the kids and shit like that. So that's the most positive thing that I remember about Soviet Union. What I also remember though, um, kilometer long queues to the grocery stores where they had absolutely fucking nothing. You go to a store to buy a toy, there's fucking nothing. You go to a store to buy soap, there's no soap. You want to buy, and because we had no proper toys, uh, or rather all kids had the same toys, the doll that doesn't tumble, what else, Kuklachov, the cat trainer, no idea why he was so popular, shit like that. So basically, 2 3 toys and that's all. um, and because we could not buy a toy in the Soviet Union, we had to construct it ourselves. That's why in the Soviet Union they had special magazines for teenagers that would teach you how to create a lunar rover using a soap container, because anyways you don't need a container for the soap that you cannot buy, and a pair of wheels and a small electric motor. And kids would do that shit themselves. They would build like airplanes using matches, paper and feces. It was crazy. So that's what I remember from the Soviet Union. Um, who needs a beer? Who needs a beer? I don't mind, but I strictly prefer non-alcoholic as for now. Um, do you still play flight simulation? Could you be a good drone operator? I operated a drone that later I gave to our reconnaissance team, and I can be not only a good drone operator, but maybe a pilot too. The only problem is that the number of my takeoffs is way bigger than the number of my landings. Um, but flight simulators are nice. Even try French Canadian food. I didn't try, but again, speaking of flight simulators, I have this add-on called Say Intentions. It's basically AI powered guide. When you fly over a territory, you can ask him like, "What's that in front of us?" Like 12 o'clock, 3 kilometers, and the dude goes, "Dude, that's Capitol Hill." And he tells the story. So I remember flying over Canada in the virtual skies and asking guides about different things, and I always ask about like the coolest local cuisine, but I completely forgot what he told me about Canadian stuff. Um, Rick, the Ukrainian, is here in the chat. My friend, hello, hello. It's so cool to see you. How is it going? Going well. I'm having coffee. I'm having beautiful company. I mean, the viewers, my friends. So, and with you, things are going even better. Um, What is your favorite German food? Oh my god. What do I eat the most in Germany? I think it's like I think it's rouladen. Rouladen is fantastic. And my good friend Angelica cooked rouladen, I believe, a month ago or something like that. It was so nice. Um, can you tell us the origins of the Ukrainian figure with the long hair coming from the top of his head? Is this a Cossack? Apparently you're talking about this one. Just a second. Apparently you're talking about this one. So if it's this one, then it's Sviatoslav Horobry. He was one of the Ukrainian kings, and he was a badass. Uh, his name is translated as Sviatoslav the Brave. He's known for numerous conquests. I think he was the one who attached his shield to the gate of the Byzantium, and he was a badass because before like fighting somebody, he would send him a message saying "Idu navi," which means "I'm coming for you." So you can prepare. I don't care. I will beat you up. And in the end, I believe he died in a battle, and I think it was Mongolian dude. He made a cup out of his skull, something like that. So the story is tough. Yeah, he was a tough guy. Um, but he's known for this haircut, and this haircut became very popular among Ukrainian Cossacks. I think it was also popular among Turkish guys, as well as guys living like further in Asia, like Middle Asia. I can be wrong, but yeah. Basically, why they had this haircut? Basically, because if you have lice, lice, right? It's one of the ways to keep yourself safe from lice. That's the easiest explanation. You just keep like a small amount of hair, and you shave everything else, and lice have nowhere to live, and they go, dude, why? Why did you do that? You destroyed my house. um, so that's the story. Again, there's a lot of different explanations regarding connection between Cossacks and ancient warriors of Indo-Iranian origin and stuff. I don't know. Um, Snow Chain says Starsky next haircut and mustache. I tried. I tried to grow mustache. I cannot do that because I'm a baby. Because like 2 weeks after growing, it itches like crazy, and I literally wanna scream and jump at street lights because of that. I cannot stand it. So 2 weeks max, I have to shave. I'm a baby, I admit. That's why I'm not as tactical as all of my brothers. On the other hand, shaving uh, almost almost guarantees that in case of chemical attack, your gas mask will fit you properly. When I was sergeant, I always used to make fun of my guys and tell them that like your beard looks sexy AF. Like you look fabulous, dude. I wanna see you during a chemical attack. Okay, what's next? Ever been surfing? No, actually, I haven't been surfing. Never ever in my life. Would try, maybe, but not in the area full of sharks. I love sharks, but I love them at a distance. Have you visited any of the Baltic states? No, not yet, but I will very, very soon. Beef or cabbage? Beef. 100% because beef is halal. So beef. But schnitzel. God. There's like literally whole frying pan like full of fried potato and mushrooms and sausages waiting for me. What's your absolute favorite meal? Thank you so much, Kate. My absolute favorite meal is either sushi or spaghetti. Like, I can eat both forever. Either sushi or spaghetti. One time I had a bet and I ate spaghetti for a month. Literally every single day. Spaghetti with fish, spaghetti with meat, spaghetti with spaghetti, spaghetti with cheese. And I felt absolutely fantastic after that. So, spaghetti, 100%. Um, Canada has horse meat, and horse meat is freaking cool. Trust me. If it's properly smoked, it's the best thing you can have. So horse meat. Uh, do you think that the guy was paid for 2 days of service? Good question. I don't think so. I think that his command, like knowing Russians, I think that his commander took all his money. Do you read that cartoon with the dog and plastered cat? The dog and plastered cat. I'm not sure. If Trump wins the election, do you think he will stop supporting Ukraine? I think there is a chance, there is a possibility. But what I also think is, you remember he said that he will finish the war in 24 hours. I like it's hard to imagine. It's so. Yeah, I understand that he says that because he wants more votes. I understand that he says that because he wants to look better comparing to other candidates and other presidents. Like, I understand that. Okay, that is obvious, right? But I wanna see him trying to solve this problem. Like, it won't happen. He will not. He will understand very, very fast that it's freaking impossible. So I don't even know if he will try to do anything. Um, of course, it depends on one thing, one very, very important thing: your involvement, your dedication. So if they see that people like don't care much about Ukrainian topic and stuff, he will not do anything. But if he understands that people want him to participate, people want him to help to resolve, then he will move. Absolutely. But again, guys, we are talking about Trump as if elections already happened. Not the case. Let's wait until the elections. Let's not be too optimistic or too pessimistic. Okay, because this is democracy, guys. We are making history every single day. So this is something we should consider. Pierogies, potato, and 3 cheese. Fried or boiled? Fried. Fried potatoes. Boiled potatoes are very, very nice, Dolores. I love boiled potato. I like mashed potato with just a bunch of onion and a bit of milk. But fried potato, to me, it's like very traditional Ukrainian cuisine. Fried potatoes with plenty of onions, black pepper, and whatever you throw into the frying pan, like meat, sausages, mushrooms. Mushroom must be fried with soy sauce, though it's important to remember. Have things improved since the US resumed arms shipment? They did, and to prove this, basically you can see every day's reports on the Russian losses from areas like Vovchansk. So as soon as this resolution was adopted in the United States, as soon as the shipments resumed, Russians started suffering tremendous losses in personnel and in the armored vehicles. And I talked to my guys, and they were like, "Holy shit, we're shooting so much HIMARS shells. We have never had anything like that before. We don't remember anything like that." So this confirms a lot. What do the orcs eat? Oh, Charlie, I recommend you to watch the unpacking of the Russian MRE that we did last year with Mercado and Alex in Kiev. Oh my god. Well, okay, if I'm starving, I would try. But, we had plenty of Russian MREs found in like all around Irpin and Bucha and Hostomel. And the only thing I took from those MREs were sugar and water. That's all. And it didn't turn me into a Russian chauvinist. Uh, but anything else, I don't know, I would puke, literally. I know guys that tried those MREs. Again, at the front, there's a lot of things that you can find to eat. There are things that you have to eat if you want to survive, of course. But no, no. After we have unpacked one pack, Patrick West saw that. Yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. It's so gross. Is Usyk still problematic? I would not say that. The problem with Usyk is it's not that he's Russian sympathizer. Okay, it's not that. Of course, he's not a Russian sympathizer after Kadyrovites from Chechnya robbed his house and took a shit into his baby's bed. But the problem with him is this affiliation of the Russian FSB, known in Ukraine as Russian Church. So he has a very, very strong connection with them. Like it's very hard to explain. I respect religion, and I respect when people, I don't know, I respect people that go to Russian Orthodox Church, but at the same time, knowing what Russian Orthodox Church is, and knowing that 100% of Russian Orthodox priests during the Soviet era, 100% of them were KGB spies. Um, like, no, and I don't understand, being overly religious, because this makes you easy to be manipulated. Um, so you should not have excess of anything in your life except for friends. Are the Russian officers taking the pay of the soldiers they get killed in meat waves? I've heard the cases. I've heard such cases because again, like there is financial officers, right, in your unit. Uh, whom do they listen to? Whom do they obey? They obey their commander. That's easy. On paper, of course, you can have like all your soldiers receiving those money and their families and stuff like that. But oh my god, I remember, I think it was last year when Russians brought a Russian mom. Uh, they took her son to the front and they brought back a brick with something that he wrote on a brick, like brick instead of sun. What an achievement! Uh, how do you feel about the Russian boxing in the Olympics not being allowed to participate this year? Uh, I remember something about their boxers being allowed to participate. If they're not, then it's absolutely great. The reason why I don't want to see Russian sportsmen participating in any competition is, first of all, it's not because I'm Ukrainian, but yeah, I have right to hate them, of course. Um, Russian sportsmen, majority of them, like 99%, have military rank because majority of the Russian sportsmen come from the army and they are funded by the Russian Ministry of Defense. I'm not sure if it's like that in the United States, for example. In Russia, it is. And they often visit soldiers, of course, and they promote war against Ukraine. At the same time, a lot of Ukrainian sportsmen don't have opportunity to train because either a stadium was bombed or gym was destroyed or things like that. Personally, if I was a boxer, I could not see myself uh, like at, at the same place with a Russian boxer without freaking, I don't know, eliminating him. I cannot see that. But if they're not allowed, that's perfect. Absolutely. They are terrorists. They invaded Ukraine. They violated the law. They violated the chapter of the United Nations. They are criminals and terrorists. And if somebody wants to invite Russian sportsmen, then I will root for them also inviting sportsmen from ISIS. ISIS, beautiful state. Why not? They also have sportsmen, I'm sure. Why not let them celebrate? Then Taliban also, why not let Taliban participate? There's a lot of sportsmen, a lot of runners, lifters, wrestlers, of course. Why not let Taliban participate as well? Um, Oh, did anyone see Jake Brown, Pierce Morgan uncensored? Yes, I saw that, but I didn't watch the video. That will be the next thing I will see. If Trump wins the election in the US and withdraws support from Ukraine, can Europe make up for it to enable Ukraine to win? So this is something that we can see the preparation for the worst case scenario, right? We can see European countries being consolidated. We can see them developing new strategies. For example, during the NATO summit, um, one of the most important decisions that were made was designating Russia as the primary threat for NATO countries. So, uh, of course, American support is very important for Ukrainians, but if Ukraine loses the support from the United States, which automatically means that Europe also loses support from the United States, we're talking about the worst case scenario, then combined efforts of European countries are still much more capable, have much more capability than Russia. The European Union produces, I believe, something close to 20 trillion in terms of GDP, annual GDP, which approximately 20 times more than Russia. So, one way or another, combined efforts of European countries will help. That's 100%. But unfortunately, a lot of things should have been done years ago. If you want to build an ammo factory producing 5.45 millimeter by 39 for like Kalashnikov, it takes a couple of years to build it, to create machines that would produce those rounds. If you want to build shells, same story. If you want to build long range guided missiles, yeah, it takes a lot of years and efforts and finances. Why it wasn't done, why it hasn't been done like years ago? Because years ago, everybody expected Russia to become more democratic, to start respect rights of LGBTQ, to start respect rights of other nations, to stop calling them bad names, because basically Russians have bad names for every nation. To start respecting everybody, to I don't know, to stop assassinating people, like in the United Kingdom, for example, in Salisbury, to stop funding terrorism. Like, what did you expect from Russia? Like, yeah, Russian PR was very, very good, very, very powerful, strong. They have their offices, their cultural offices in most of the countries of the world, where they show you beautiful Russian culture, valenki, balalaikas, matryoshkas, vodka, Dostoevsky, uh, who else? Gorky, Tchaikovsky, and shit like that. Real Russia is absolutely different. Real Russia is a terrorist fucking country. Um, so they had good marketing. Ukraine had bad marketing. I admit it. Unfortunately, nobody really cared about international image of Ukraine for years. Um, there were attempts, but those attempts were absolutely meager. I thought Russians were allowed to compete in Olympics, but under a white neutral flag. Yeah, that's what I heard too. So basically, they can compete, but they cannot bring their terrorist tricolor. Mm. Like, guys, I'm trying not to comment much on, Trump slash Biden, because like, okay, American politics, I don't know much about it. Okay, I'm learning, but you have to live in the US to at least understand something about local politics. I know a lot of Ukrainian politics. I know a lot of Russian politics, of course. Uh, but American politics is something that I require your help, right? But as for American slash Ukrainian politics, American Ukrainian relations, that is something very, very important to me for obvious reasons. Um, so I'm trying to listen and learn more rather than comment on shit I don't understand, because that's exactly what popular experts on a television do. I'm not like that. What do you think of Elon Musk right now? So I think that, шановний Андрію, I think that Elon Muscovite chose a very wrong side of the barricades. Holy shit, how to translate this? Uh, So we all endorsed Elon Musk when he presented his Starlinks and created those beautiful spaceships and shit like that. At the same time, people known for doing extremely like valuable contributions in science, in culture and shit. Sometimes they have wrong political views. Wrong. What I mean people like Henry Ford, for example, right? Yeah, he created some kick-ass automobiles back in those days, but that was the same dude who was speaking the same shit JD Vance is speaking nowadays about I don't care about like Europe, Poland. What? They should capitulate. They should give up. We should make peace with H-man. Um, so Henry Ford was known for this shit. Same with Elon Musk. Basically, I believe that he's dreaming about the same place in the book of history. At the same time, the dude, like, you can be smart in building spaceships, you can be fucking stupid when it comes to politics. Elon Musk, then this Douglas McGregor and other individuals, they like to say shit like, including Obama, by the way, including freaking Obama. They like to say shit like, there are Russian speaking people in Ukraine. They must be Russians. So apparently, Elon Musk is fucking British. Oh my god. Situation is so absurd, guys. Like, the whole justification of the war, it's so freaking, it's hilarious. Imagine Uh, Spain invades Argentina. Okay? No, it's not stupid enough. Imagine Canada, in the parallel universe, Canada invades the USA. Not like, not, no, 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 not officially Canada. No. Angry armed Canadians invade USA. They invade freaking, I don't know, Illinois. And they go, guys, you are speaking our language. That's why apparently you are Canadians. So we decided to remove all the American flags from like administrations, right? Install Canadian flags. And also, those armed people will make sure that people in your state will vote for separation and joining, possibly in the future, joining our beautiful Canada. And like, oh my God, one thing I want to show you, okay? Russians like to say there was a referenda. People expressed their opinions in Donbass to join Russia, to become. I will show you this. Let's see. Okay, here we have Svetoslav. Zona Ato. All right. Joint Forces Operation Ukraine, formerly known as Anti-Terrorist Operation. Okay, this is an animated map. So you can see the Russia-controlled territory back in those days, starting from like April 2014, until 2022. Let's see, do they have a different map? God. Okay, let's use this map regardless. So you can see approximate territory that was occupied by Russian terrorists during like their biggest success. Okay, so this territory. Okay, this territory was occupied by Russian hybrid for. Oh shit. Okay, like this territory, right? Okay, even this territory. Okay, so this territory was occupied at some time. Of course, the territory changed. First, they occupied quite a lot, and then they lost some, and then they gained some, etc., etc. But oh shit, I lost it. Okay, here. But this is why it's a wrong color. Are you kidding me? But this is this territory here. This is Donetsk Oblast. And this territory here, oh shit, what I'm doing, like this territory here, is Luhansk Oblast. So people who voted, they are not 100% of people of Donbass. Now tell me this. 30 states of the United States vote to, I don't know, elect a president, and all others like don't care. Are those elections legit? Or they want to hold a referendum to join, I don't know, the United Kingdom, right? And all Americans must vote, but only 30 states vote. Is this referendum even legit? And I let alone the fact that the referendum was uh, held by armed people who came from Russia. And it was not an official referendum, and it was not recognized by anybody except for Russia, of course. This is a very good question. What about all the Ukrainian speakers in Russia? So, unfortunately, I believe that they don't exist. And the reason for that is that there are zero Ukrainian schools in Russia because Russia cares so much about its national minorities. In 2022, Ukraine, before the full scale Russian invasion, there were approximately 600 active Russian speaking schools in Ukraine because Ukraine is so repressive towards Russian speaking people. So in 2022, we had almost 600 Russian schools in Ukraine. There are zero Ukrainian schools in Russia. So that's about Ukrainian speakers in Russia. Angry armed Canadians. Guys, it was just a joke and just a hypothetical situation, just so you could understand how ridiculous it is. And imagine there are angry Canadian separatists, not Canadians, angry Canadian combatants, militants that invade a bunch of American states, and they go, "You must become Canadians." And Americans go, "Why the hell do you attack us? You were saying all this time that we were brothers, that we were friends." And Canadians, for example, go like, "Yeah, we are friends. We are friends unless you identify yourself not as Canadian." That's exactly the situation. Before the full-scale invasion, I believe even 2014, even way there. 2014, when Russia invaded and annexed Crimea and then invaded and annexed a piece of Donbass, I believe that approximately 78% Ukrainians still considered Russia like a friendly nation. And this percentage was going down, becoming smaller and smaller every year. Is Sergeant Jane okay? As far as I know, yes, she is, and she's not a sergeant. And well, deep inside she is, but she got commissioned, as far as I know. You have any plans of weed? Since it's legal in Germany, actually, I don't. I don't really like that stuff because probably it's like my physical feature, but I vomit further than I can see if I do weed. So I don't do it since high school. I tried only once. What percent of nicotine do you vape? I don't really know actually. Doesn't say. Or I don't know where to look. Yeah, it's a blueberry. What Ukrainians think about, like, I don't know, they think about it as the same as all other people everywhere on the globe. Y'all seen the movie Red Dawn? Red Dawn. I seen the Red Dawn? Um, I didn't see this one, but I saw. My God, was it this one? Yeah, but I've seen this one, guys, the Red Heat. And if you want to, like, if you have nostalgia for, this era of VHS tapes, uh, like old action movies without like almost any uh, computer FX, watch Red Heat. If you want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger speaking with like horrible accent, speaking Russian with horrible accent, you gotta watch this. Actually, it's like the most brutal movie I have ever seen in my life. You probably remember this moment when he goes into this restaurant where all the Russian mafia gathers, and like it's as brutal as in Terminator. He goes there like with his stone face without saying a word, and the mafia starts protesting against it. They go, "Почему ты ко всем придираешься? Мы же такие простые люди. Что будет с нашей страной?" And he goes to this guy and he punches him, and then he tears his leg. And I'm like, oh, like when I was probably 5 years old when I saw that for the first time, and he like tears his leg off, and I'm like, oh my god. And then he's like, cocainum. That's probably like the most powerful moment I have ever seen in the history of movie. Like seriously, it's so good. What about Kuban? So, what do we think about Kuban? Kuban was formerly a Ukrainian territory because Ukraine was much bigger than today. Uh, there are still a lot of like Ukrainian diaspora living there, and like historically, it belonged to Ukraine. There is this thing called internationally recognized borders. So we should respect internationally recognized borders, but when people of Kuban decide to have a peaceful referendum and separate according to the United Nations statute, I believe that Ukrainian people will gladly accept them back home. Can Arnold even speak Austrian well? I think he can. I mean, like he was born there. I've heard the story of his father. By the way, it's insane. But on the other hand, whatever difficulties you have in your life, they either break you or make you stronger. And if you are watching this stream right now, it means that you are strong enough to overcome those difficulties. And bad times make good people. How would Ukraine seriously get rid of corruption when the leader of the US, being Biden, is corrupt and he is recorded being corrupt with Ukraine? His son and Biden are a part of Ukrainian corruption. So let's talk about corruption in Ukraine. I don't know much about President Biden. I know about Ukrainian corruption. So we have this tendency to publish quite a lot of news reports regarding corruptionists in Ukraine being arrested. I served in the army in the brigade command, right? And I know that, and I also served in the Ukrainian police in the times when it was still called militia. So I know a thing or two about corruption. Nowadays, it's nothing that can be compared to what it was back in 2015, even 2018. There is this hotline in the National Guard that everybody is afraid of like hell, because as soon as somebody calls the hotline, the hell goes loose. It's insane. So government is controlling like the transparency of the army. As for the government, again, we have a lot of things like Prozoro, which is how do you call it? Закупівлі. Oh my god, Andriy, help me with this, please. Закупівлі. Tenders. So all tenders, all state tenders are public, and basically people can see what's happening, how much stuff costs that different establishments or government want to buy. We have a lot of tools for controlling the government as citizens. One of them being, of course, direct action, Ukrainian protesters, Ukrainian activists, civilian activists. Ukrainian society is very, very politically active, which, in my opinion, is very good. At the same time, it also brings troubles sometimes. As a former policeman, I can say, because people are different. Okay, they're different ever, but generally, it's nice. So Biden's son. As far as I remember, there were so many discrepancies regarding this investigation. I am not sure about it. There was this trial, right? Court Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden moves to dismiss charges after a judge tosses Trump document case. Hunter Biden guilty of all charges in federal gun trial. So we have several convicted felons, one of them being Hunter Biden and another, I'm sorry, Donald Trump. Corruption. We have to fight corruption, regardless where it comes from. Regardless where you see it, you have to fight it. Have you ever seen the movie Come and See? Have I? Let me check it out. Come and see. Ah, this one. No, I don't think so. The scariest war film ever made. Scariest war film is like going to a local store from your position and getting like credit cards of your guys and like a lot of pieces of paper with lists of things to buy, like cigarettes, condoms, and noodles, and Coca-Cola, of course. That is the scariest war film you can imagine. Actually, it's so cool. I remember 2017, 2018, Svetlodarsk Bulge. We would go to a store with my friends, with Bogdan, and we would speak English to everybody. And we were wearing like MTP, MTP camo, and we talked Ukrainian or Russian with like heavy English accent. It was so cool. English or Polish sometimes. It was really cool. Is there corruption in Ukraine? Yes. Is there corruption in every state, country? Yes. The difference in Ukraine is it's Russians' corruption. And that, my friends, is a very, very good observation because all Ukrainian mafia was always connected with Russian mafia. Ukrainian corrupted government was always connected to Russian government as well. And let's see one thing, okay? Let's see one thing here. Transparency.org. Okay, deny or allow cookies? Let me know in the comments. Just kidding. Okay, transparency.org. Let's see, what do we have? Get out of here. I don't want you to know my location. Countries. I don't want your newsletter. No, stop bombing me with your messages, please. Corruption Perceptions Index. So basically, why Afghanistan? Guys, it's like, no, please, get out of here. So transparency.org is a website. It's basically an authority gathering data on corruption in different countries. Let's see. Where is the list? What we do? Come on, yes, Afghanistan. Yeah, good. Okay. Our story, our impact, corruption by country. Why? Why are you showing me this? Okay, select a different country. Okay. Let's see. Ukraine. Where is my motherland? Address. Okay, corruption perception index. All right. Ukraine has a score of 36 this year, with a change of 3 since last year, meaning it ranks 104 out of 180 countries. Please remember this number. Ukraine ranks 104 out of 180 countries of the world. And yeah, there are more countries, but not all of them provide you with enough details. Ukraine ranks 104. So, like, the smaller the number, the better the country. What do we have here? We have Russia. Mhm. Russia has a score of 26 this year with the change -2 last year, meaning it ranks 141 out of 180 countries. So basically, it tells us that Russia sits almost 40 positions lower than Ukraine in the rating of transparency. It means that it's 40 positions higher in terms of corruption. It means that it's 40 positions less transparent and more corrupted than Ukraine. 40. There are 40 countries between Ukraine and Russia in terms of corruption. Okay, Ukraine's level of corruption nowadays is exactly the same as it was in Poland and Slovakia and Hungary before they joined the European Union. That is, again, something you should really, really know. Let's check out. Let's check out like different countries, by the way, because it's something interesting. United States. United States has a score of 69 this year with a change of 0, meaning it ranks 24 out of 180 countries. Yes, there is quite a gap between the United States and Ukraine, as big as 80 points, exactly, 80 countries between us. But there's also 40 countries between Ukraine and Russia. So you must understand the scale. Which country do we check out next? How do you think which is the less corrupted country of the world? Please let me know. Dusty River, USA, not on 69th place. It's 69 points. Starsky whispers 16. 69 is my horoscope sign. It's a Cancer, the crab, the little sea dude. That's my symbol. It looks like 6, 9. Singapore or Canada or Denmark, Sweden, Finland. Okay, let's check. Where are we? Singapore. Let's check Singapore. I'm not. As far as I remember, there's not really the situation in Singapore with like freedoms is not really good, but at the same time, their corruption is freaking. It ranks 5 out of 180 countries. 5th place. You try to buy something like illegal or you try to give somebody a bribe, you're done. This is how the things are done. Of course, I believe that it's on behalf of freedoms. I might be wrong, of course. Please fix me if I'm wrong. It's just I know the facts. Like if you criticize their leadership, you will have problems or things like that. But again, I might be wrong because I only saw that on YouTube. I didn't have opportunity to check. Okay, that's Singapore. Sweden. I wonder who's number 1. Sweden ranks 6. It's lower than Singapore, but still very nice. Like, guys, 6th place out of 180 countries. Denmark. Okay. Denmark. Denmark ranks number 1 out of 180 countries. And Denmark, I will check it, guys. I swear, I promise. I will check if it's true. Next time I'm in Denmark, I will try to bribe somebody, bribe a cop, for example, to check if it works. I hope that this video will serve as proof of my good intentions. Number one, Georgie knows stuff. Ukraine matters. He knows stuff. Where's USA? Snow chains. It's 20 something, 24. I think it's 24. Ireland. Oh, Ireland, by the way. Iceland, Ireland. I wonder what's the rank of Iceland, by the way. Ireland ranks 11. But Iceland ranks 90. Really? Oh, Iceland. Why? Oh my god. Oh my god, said the dude from Ukraine. But we're fighting, guys. We really do. No, Venezuela. Venezuela ranks 177. They are in top 3 from the different end, right? What is the most corrupted country? How do you think? Somalia. We don't currently have a national. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, just as I thought. As far as I remember, there's like only a bunch of towns controlled by central government, recognized central government at least, and the rest is basically Russia. Okay, guys, I don't want to keep you busy any longer. It's 1 a.m. Here in my place. Thank you so much for watching. North Korea. Oh my god, we had to wait. Before we finish, we gotta check the North Korea. North Korea must rank, I believe, like 12, maybe. North Korea. Here you are. 177. North Korea, my friends, is more transparent than Venezuela. What the hell is wrong with the world? I have no idea. Okay, guys, I will be going to bed. Oh, I still have some coffee. My dear friends, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying with me tonight. Thank you for your questions. And most of all, thank you for supporting my country. Thank you for supporting democracy and freedom. Thank you for being people to whom these words matter, and they are not just words. Democracy and freedom. This is something Ukrainians are fighting for, Ukrainians are sacrificing and suffering for, but this is something worth fighting for. Thank you so much for being decent. Thank you so much for being my friends. Guys, be safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.